Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 216. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. My co-host this morning is Stephen Hammond, filling in for Emron Khan. How are we doing, sir? Happy Sunday. The old on the mute button.
Rookie mistake. No, we're doing good this Sunday. Who knows really what we're going to get with football today? We got feels like a decent amount of people out with COVID. But we'll buckle up and we're ready for the ride.
Talk about good timing. You know, we didn't have any schedule conflicts all year, no potential shutdowns. Now we got games for 4 days straight. How did you do last night? Did you have any picks in last night's game?
Yeah, so I had Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor parlay, so that worked out. Jonathan Taylor was scaring me. He didn't get that one till late, and it was like a 60-yard run he had. And then Colts money line. That's all I really had.
Nice.
I got it. There's a little bit of nervousness there when the Mac Jones and the Patriots were coming back down there late.
Yeah, I think it was pretty settled though. You know, watching that game. I mean, I think we saw some moments where you're just like, oh, maybe this is the Patriots moment. Not so much. You know, it just wasn't the same on the road. You know, Colts definitely a little bit more comfortable at home. Jonathan Taylor still looking good, but man, Carson Wentz, you did it for me, brother. I was going up against him in fantasy. What, 5 for 12? That was amazing. Thank you, sir. Tip of the cap. And he cleared, I think, 75% of playing time so far this season. So now they owe another first-round pick, the Colts. They have to give up another first-round pick to the Eagles. So good on the Eagles, giving up the guy, who went 5 for 12. And, I won't say a huge game, but I think it was a pretty big one for them coming down to the end of the season here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's jump into our best props for this Sunday. We'll lead off. I have Myles Gaskin with an anytime touchdowns paying plus 110. The Jets have given up the most rushing touchdowns to the running back position with 19 on the season. So I also double dipped for a second anytime touchdown, paying at plus 550. So I have both. Hopefully I don't miss. At least give me one, Myles Gaskin. Don't do me like that. What do you got, Steve?
I love that Gaskin play. I kind of feel like he gets some heavy workloads when they're playing teams that just aren't that good. So I like the 2 touchdowns really at plus 550. That's great value starting running back. So I like that. I only got one today. I have a Diggs anytime touchdown.
Nice.
I think this is kind of a get right game for the Bills. Kind of haven't been looking the greatest here the past couple of weeks, but they square off against the Panthers, who have, they don't even know who their starting quarterback is. And their defense, they made moves earlier this year, kind of win now moves, and nothing has paid off for them. Matt Rule probably on the hot seat.
Yeah, it's been an interesting carousel at the quarterback position. I'd like to see what they do in the offseason, and I feel like probably management, the GM will probably take that in consideration. Like, all right, you got some options out here, Rule. Who do you like? And if he kind of passes that test to management, I feel like he'll stick around. Let's jump into our player game statuses for this week 15. What are we looking at for not expected to play and players who are ruled out, Steve?
Yeah, so first up, not expected to play. They're both in this Baltimore versus Green Bay game. We got Economist St. Brown and Lamar Jackson. He is not expected to play. We'll get Tyler Huntley in there instead. So those are our only 2 that are not expected to play. We'll probably have a ruling here a little bit later before the games. Ruled out already. One last night. Damian Harris obviously didn't play. We got Darren Waller. He's missing another game. Kareem Hunt, COVID, I think, is technically his designation, but I think he was also battling injury from last week. We got Anthony Schwartz for the Browns, Carlos Hyde for the Jags. Daniel Jones looks like I think he's shut down for the rest of the year. So he will be out. Deandre Hopkins, same story. He'll be shut down for the year. That's tough. Yeah, that's tough for fantasy owners down here in the playoffs. DeAndre Swift, he is still out versus Arizona this week. Emmanuel Sanders for Buffalo is ruled out. And then the running back for the Niners, Elijah Mitchell, will be out today.
All right, sounds good. So expected to play today, we have Austin Eckler, Tony Pollard, James Conner, Zach Ertz, Josh Reynolds, DJ Moore, Leonard Fournette, Marquise Brown, Javonte Williams, and Melvin Gordon. Definitely want to look out for their statuses going forward. Let's jump into our morning flex. We're going to start off with quarterbacks here. We're going to attack some sitter start questions. If you have any sitter start questions, please be sure to share them into the chat and be sure to smash the like button, share the video, and follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. All right, first up, we've got Joe Burrow on the road in Denver going up against Tua Tagovailoa versus the Jets at home. Who are you going with, Steve?
I'd love to say Joe Burrow here as he's my dynasty quarterback. I just don't like the matchup this week. I think it's going to be Tua. Tua's put in a passer rating over 105 of his last 6 games and 4 straight of his last 4. And with a matchup versus the Jets, granted their secondary's all right. I still think Tua's going to carve them up. I love him here.
Yep, give me Tua Tagovailoa as well. I know it's a tough one going up against Joe Burrow, but Burrow gets the Denver Broncos on the road. Broncos, second fewest points allowed on the season, and they rank 5th fewest for fantasy points against the quarterback position. It's not an ideal situation for him. Tua Tagovailoa could get one on the ground today as well. I mentioned that the Jets love to give up the rushing touchdowns, so there's a lot of opportunity for him there, and they're also playing at home, and they're surging. Tua, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 interception in his last 3 games. Joe Burrow also has shown us some hot and cold, in production. So I don't necessarily trust him 1,000% this week. Let's catch up with the chat. We got Sawyer saying Tua versus the Jets or Joey B versus the Broncos. That's exactly what we just went over. So there you go. Hey guys, only one question: Ertz or Gesicki? That's a tough one. I need to get the full status on Ertz if he's going to be healthy going into that one. I think Gesicki's probably the safer play based on that, but I don't know. The Cardinals are also going to be missing Hopkins as well, so there's still some upside there. If he's 100%, I like that matchup more still. Detroit's super bad. What do you think about that one, Steve?
I'm probably going to go Gesicki here just because I believe he's fully healthy after missing last week, was it? And so I'm going to go Gesicki here. I think Ertz has his moments, and obviously this one kind of presents itself as a game where they'll need him against the Lions without D-Hop. But I think they could even get Rondale Moore involved and be just fine to beat this Lions team. So I just think Gesicki is going to get major usage.
Absolutely. So Bob Dole saying hamstring for Ertz, but expected to play. Yeah, just make sure that he's expected to play. If he is fully 100%, they pull the Q, everything's all good. I still think there's a lot of upside for him in that matchup, not having Hopkins there and just having that, beneficial matchup up against Detroit. So we got a lot to catch up with here. Let's see. We got Mario, Standard League, need to, Darrell Henderson, who is playing, Christian Kirk, filling in for Hopkins, probably getting a little bit more action, Brandon Cooks or Terry McLaurin. So I'm taking Terry McLaurin off. I'm dealing with Terry McLaurin issues. He put up a goose egg last week, 4 points, 7 points the week before that. It's not looking good. And he's also in concussion protocol, and we don't know what we're going to get from the quarterback position. So I'm taking him off of there. I like Brandon Cooks. And I think Darrell Henderson is still a safer play than Christian Kirk. Kirk should have more upside with Hopkins out of the lineup, but I trust Henderson more. So I'm going Cooks and Henderson there. And it's a standard league as well. So the running back over the Christian Kirk, I still think is more of a favorable play there. What do we think, Steve?
Yeah, Brandon Cooks was the one who definitely stuck out to me. He's my number 1 here who I'd be starting. And then you hit it right there. Standard league, go the running back. I mean, Christian Kirk, he could, but it's like kind of the unknown. Henderson, when healthy, we know what he can provide. Take that in a standard league.
Yep, sounds good to me. We got Sawyer asking also Julio, Jeff Wilson, or Amon-Ra in PPR. That's tough. I'd like to say Jeff Wilson. You would think with Elijah Mitchell out of the lineup, like, hey, there should be some more opportunity from him, but not with Debo playing running back. Like
Debo,
they've fully averted him to like the running back position. Like he's getting, I was looking at his number today. He's at 42 receiving yards for his prop. I don't feel comfortable taking the over because they're giving him way more work at the running back position. He's getting more carries than targets. So I don't feel like Jeff Wilson is a home run play here. I'm kind of feeling Amon-Ra St. Brown and Julio. I feel like Julio is going to find the end zone this week. It's a good matchup on the road up against Pitt. Oddly enough, the Titans 5-1 on the road to the over this season. A lot of upside for some points here in that matchup. So I like Julio and Amon-Ra. What do you think?
Okay, so we got to choose 2 here.
I'm assuming 2.
I'm going to go.
If it's just 1, then I would probably go Julio. I just don't trust Detroit.
Yeah, that was going to be where I went. Picking 1, Julio. I'll throw, if it is pick 2, I'll throw Jeff Wilson in there. I do think you're right with Debo. I actually took Debo to have a rushing and a receiving plus like 1,000 today, just because it was kind of a fun bet I saw. So I go Julio, Jeff Wilson.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we've got Justin in the chat. Gibson, Zeke, Javonte, Najee, start 2. We're going to assume that this is PPR. I am going to go Javonte and Najee. Zeke, not really impressing me. Gibson's kind of the same situation. I like the upside more so for those plays in Williams and Harris. More PPR opportunities. I think they're both more likely to find the end zone as well.
Yeah, I have Zeke and Gibson on a team. I'm in the playoffs right now, and I'm nervous. Last week it's half point PPR. Last week they combined for, I believe, 9 points. And they both turned out like a 40, 50 yards, but they didn't add much after that. Javonte, obviously, he's battling with Melvin, but I still love him. And Najee is like a must start, in my opinion, week in and week out. How much the Steelers call on him, you got to have him in there.
Asking if we think Cam gets a run in today. Maybe. I mean, he's kind of their RB1 now.
Yeah,
I know I have a Chuba question for us in the back end of the show here. I don't feel high on him today.
Yeah, this is probably the lowest I felt on Cam. He's gotten benched in 2 straight games. He has gotten a rushing touchdown, I feel like, in both of those games. But, you worry that if that opportunity doesn't arise in, say, the first quarter, probably doesn't get it after because his passing is horrendous.
I agree. We got Malachi 1476 asking. He's in first place, 11-3, and he's got 5 running backs. Well, first off, if you're in first place, shouldn't you be on bye? I'm 11-3 in first place, and I'm on bye this week. Rashad Penny. We'll go through it. Rashad Penny, Devonta Freeman, AJ Dillon, Myles Gaskin, or Jeff Wilson. Myles Gaskin. That's the home run matchup up against the Jets, and then I'm going to go Devonta Freeman. He's the steady goes the ship in Baltimore. I think he's had the best recent production of this group for sure. Rashad Penny, just a flash in the pan from last week. I'm going Freeman and Gaskin.
So I'm guessing this guy went with 0 RB strategy here. It worked out for him, 11-3. These being the running back, maybe had some injuries along the way, plenty this year. So Myles Gaskin, we hit it on the top of the show. I love him in this matchup versus the Jets. He's won. Ooh, I'm not gonna go Devontae. I'm actually gonna go AJ Dillon. I like what he can do there and provide some relief for the Packers. He's just a wrecking ball. So I think AJ Dillon can actually find the end zone this week.
All right, and then Justin's back again. Gallup, J-Rob, AJ Dillon, start 1. My other RB is Aaron Jones. Man. That's tough. Gallup and J-Rob. J-Rob, I feel like it's kind of like a pseudo revenge thing. The Jaguars have said as much, like James Robinson, he's our RB1. We're going to treat him as such this week. I feel like they want to make like a very big public affirmation, like this is our guy and Urban Meyer is not our guy anymore. They want to be very clear on that. I feel like he's going to get a lot of usage today. But man, Gallup, he's had like 9 targets, I think, in 3 straight weeks. It's, A1 on the targets, but B2 on the production. He's getting like 5 catches or so, 4 or 5 catches on a lot of looks. I'm going to go J-Rob and I guess I'll go J-Rob because it's only start 1. For some reason, I was thinking I would need to name a second.
Yeah, the matchup you had there for Gallup against the Giants, it's juicy, but one thing about that Cowboys offense, who gets, on passing downs, who's getting the touchdown? Is it Dalton Schultz? Is it, they got a plenty big crew over there. So I'm going to pass on them. I think you hit it right there with James Robinson. This is 30 carries I expect for him today. They're going to say, all right, watch this, Urban. We're going to do this. And the Texans linebackers are kind of banged up. So I think a revenge game, as I guess you could say, or, just really stick it to the guy who just left.
Right, absolutely. Malachi back in the chat saying he had Henry and Hunt, obviously both out. Justin, let's see. He had Cardinals D-Hop, who tore his MCL last week. Yeah, I know. My heart breaks as well there. Could be back for NFC Championship. Yeah, out of fantasy playoffs. Don't care. Liked and subbed. Appreciate you, Bob Dole. Appreciate you, sir. Ertz or Kittle. That's an easy one for me. Going Kittle. What do you think, Steve?
All day, Kittle. Kittle's had a resurgence.
Yep. That's an easy one. And then we got Michael Carter or Donta Foreman. I'm going Donta Foreman there. What do you got?
Agreed.
All right. And then we got Dallas defense or San Fran defense. That's very tough, but I'm going Dallas. I think they are more likely to score a touchdown this week.
Ooh, yeah. I like that. I mean, obviously, Giants quarterback's kind of up in the air. San Fran.
We just got done talking up Jimmy Garoppolo, or I guess we didn't. I'm about to. We're going to get back to our picks. I'm going to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo here in a second.
I guess we got to talk up Jimmy Garoppolo now.
Yeah, my bad. Christian Kirk or DJ Moore? Got to go Christian Kirk. DJ Moore has been so reliable, even with the whole quarterback situation with Walker and Cam, but I trust that matchup more. You know, going up against Detroit, Carolina doesn't really have to play for anything. Moore's coming in questionable. It's really, really tough. DJ Moore has been one of my big guys this year, but I can't do it. I think Kirk's still the better play here. Got to rip the name off the back.
I'm in agreement. I have DJ Moore, and he has done enough to get me by. But this quarterback situation they got is terrible. So, yeah, I got to go Christian Kirk.
Justin asking what the workload is going to be between Connor and Chase. I think it's going to be pretty healthy. I expect the Cardinals to get up big in that game, so you could wind up seeing a few more extra carries to go around for Chase Edmonds. Let's come back around to our sitter start questions. We will definitely answer some more, but we're going to get back on track with our schedule here. Keep throwing them in the chat. We will definitely catch up. Next up, we've got Russell Wilson at the Rams versus Jimmy Garoppolo versus Atlanta. And I'm going to talk up Garoppolo here. I'm definitely going with Jimmy with this one. Very similar to the situation with Burrow versus Tua. This is a better matchup. A lesser defense in the Falcons. They're playing at home. Garoppolo, 11 passing touchdowns, 4 interceptions in his last 6 games. And I love the extra little bit of upside with Deebo Samuel lining up alongside him at the running back position. It just creates, more opportunities for misdirection plays, for easy passes for Garoppolo. And obviously having a speedy guy back there, it's going to help him, on the dump outs, right? When the pressure's, under the gun, he needs to get a safe ball out to a reliable player. Debo's going to clean up for him and really take care of business. So I like Jimmy here. What do you think?
So I've been kind of back and forth on this. I do think Russell Wilson is finally healthy. So I think we're starting to see him make better decisions, and he can actually throw the ball deep, things like that. But really, Jimmy Garoppolo has turned it on. This year, he's been very accurate, in my opinion. So I'm going to go here. Falcons defense, Falcons in general, they've been kind of a laughingstock this year. I like what Garoppolo can bring here. A little worried that they get it done on the ground more opposed to through the air.
Right.
But the lesser defense definitely being the Falcons, and I want that.
Agreed. All right, next up, we've got some names that we've already talked about. First up, we've got James Robinson versus Houston, Donta Foreman at Pittsburgh, or DJ Moore at Buffalo. From our previous talk here, it sounds like James Robinson's the pick.
Yep, easy money right there.
All right, so we like that one. Next up, Devontae Freeman, Miles Sanders, or Michael Gallup. I'm going to stick with Freeman here. This is another one that I really like. I think that's going to be a competitive game between the Ravens and the Packers. Gallup, I mentioned the Dallas defense. I feel like they could score a touchdown, maybe even 2. This could be a weird game where the Cowboys don't need to be on the field very often on offense. So I would say Freeman, Gallup, and then Miles Sanders, because who knows what we're going to get from the Philly running game. We never do.
Yeah, so I'm depending on the scoring in your league. Obviously, standard scoring, I'm going to like Devontae Freeman more. Just because Gallup, he's really in a standard league, he's touchdown dependent for a lot of it because he might only churn out maybe 50 yards.
Right.
So standard league, I'd go Freeman, Gallup, Sanders. PPR, I'll go Gallup, Freeman, Sanders. So you hit it earlier, 9 targets. He's been hauling in about 5 of them. Hopefully he can, turn that up a bit, but I like it.
Sounds good to me. All right, next up, we've got Renfro versus Metcalf versus Montgomery. This is a really close one for me, but I feel like Montgomery is still the leader here. Renfro, tons of targets, tons of volume. But I feel like the running volume plus the receiving volume that Montgomery has gotten in the past 2 weeks just throws him over the needle here. He had 7 targets last week, 9 targets the week before that, 13 catches across 14 catches across the last 2 weeks. I feel like that upside, that little bit of extra upside in the passing game puts him over the nod for Renfro, who I feel like could get another 12 or 13 targets this week. It's just that he doesn't boom with them. He doesn't go for like huge amounts of yards. You know what I mean? He's not a big downfield threat. I feel like the Cleveland defense can still, take care of business up against Renfro, and Metcalf for me is still on the outside looking in. I don't trust that offense up against the Rams.
I will say Hunter Renfro's topped that 100-yard mark now, 3 straight weeks. I was lucky. I might be a little biased because I was lucky as probably 5 weeks ago now. I was able to snag him off my waiver wire. Don't know how. But it was huge for me because DeAndre Hopkins, he was out. I think it was probably someone who was playing more of the name factor and not really looking at the numbers at how good he's been doing in the total amounts of targets and everything he sees. He's my number one here. I think he's just I think he's the guy. David Montgomery is a close two. You are right, especially against the Vikings, whose defense, I think they just lost another starter on their defense for the year. I still got to go Hunter Renfro here. What he's been doing is absolutely nuts. PPR, he's seeing 10-plus targets, hauling them. He's pretty much getting 10 catches, and then you throw in that 100 yards. He's the man there.
Hey, I don't hate it. I'm starting him in a lot of formats this week, so I need it. All right, next up we have Brandon Cooks at Jacksonville, Van Jefferson versus Seattle, or Chuba Hubbard at Buffalo. This is the one I was referring to, and I just can't trust Chuba Hubbard. Like, I would love if he was getting that A1 volume, like that CMC type of volume, but they've reverted to Cam being their RB1, and he's the run-first option, so I have to fade him. And Van Jefferson has had 3 straight touchdowns in 3 straight weeks, but the volume just isn't as consistent as Cooks. Cooks has had double-digit targets at least 4 or 5 times this season. Van Jefferson hasn't had that opportunity even once. So I feel like we need Van Jefferson to make the end zone this week. Would you bet on him going for pay dirt 4 weeks in a row?
Actually, I will. He's kind of their downfield threat, I feel like. So I do like Van Jefferson to score today. But I like what you said, Brandon Cooks against Jacksonville. It's the best. I would say here is probably the best player and the best matchup of all of them. So I mean, like, what more could you need there?
Fair enough. All right, last up, we've got some tight end matchups here, and then we're going to jump back to the chat and get some of their questions. We've got Dawson Knox versus Carolina, or Dallas Goedert versus the football team. This one's really tough for me. Because if Gardner Minshew's playing, I don't know. I kind of feel like just saying, fade the numbers, give me Goddard. Like that week with him in the lineup was huge. It was huge. Without Minshew, I don't know. Like, Jalen Hurts is that run-first quarterback, and the team, obviously is going to focus around that approach. Like, they're going to go run heavy. Knowing what I know now, I'd probably say Dawson Knox, but man, if Minshew finds his way into this lineup, I feel like I may make a last-minute aversion to Goddard. What do you think?
I'm going Goddard. That last game he had where he topped the 100-yard mark. Did he even get up to? Oh,
it was high. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Yeah, it was a big one.
I'm gonna go him. I like Dawson Knox. 105. Okay.
Yeah.
I like Dawson Knox. I think he to me though, he's a little more touchdown dependent. Just with the tools that they have on their offense and how they like to use them. But I think Goddard, we see another one where he just eats a bunch of yards, and he could even that whole Eagles game is going to be crazy because I don't even know who's going to be in it for the Redskins or for the football team. I'm going to go Goddard here. I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah, we got a Tuesday kickoff at 7 Eastern. Going to be an interesting one. Yeah, I mean, right now, knowing what I know, I go Dawson Knox. I think he's a safer play. They're also going to be missing Manny Sanders, so I think there's some extra targets to go around in the red zone. Next up, we've got Dalton Schultz at the Giants or Kyle Pitts at San Francisco. I'm keeping it simple. I trust the Cowboys offense a lot more than the Falcons.
Okay. I like Dalton Schultz a lot. I think he has kind of regressed as the season went on a bit.
Agreed.
Still, obviously, a big factor, but what you were seeing him get like 9 targets a game early on in the season, and
Right.
that was turning out to some big numbers.
Mhm.
I'm going to go Kyle Pitts here. I think
Okay.
that the 49ers, their linebackers are banged up. I don't think they have Alasher and Warner. What is that? Fred Warner? Yeah.
Mhm.
He's had some injuries in the past couple of weeks. I do think he's playing, but I'm going to go Kyle Pitts. I think he can really attack them and be a matchup nightmare.
Okay, sounds good. All right, let's jump back to the chat here, and then we're going to get into some game previews. Let's see. We had Justin asking about Taysom or Stafford. Do you get points for rushing attempts? Stafford, yeah, like by a lot, by miles and miles of value, I feel like.
Yeah, I do think you could probably see a Taysom goal line touchdown. He's probably going to be their goal line back. Okay, here's a question. Who do you trust more at the goal line, Taysom Hill or Alvin Kamara?
Well, I trust Alvin Kamara more, but I don't coach in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like I
Really?
trust a guy that's his job to do it, like to finish inside the 5. Taysom Hill, he's not gonna. If you're at the 1 yard line, like anyone can finish. Look at what Tom Brady does. He's not a running quarterback. He just knows how to attack the line, right? Like that comes from his experience.
I guess back that out a little bit. Let's go to the 3 or the 4.
I still Alvin Kamara. I mean, if you're asking me to run it in or just to get in the end zone, I trust Alvin Kamara because he can catch the ball. He can run the ball. That's what he's supposed to do. Taysom's going to have to. It's not like Taysom's just going to be able to run it straight in. He's going to have to do some misdirection. The play calling is going to have to set something up for him. He's better fit for that because the defense knows, hey, Alvin Kamara is coming at us, at least for these first 2 tries probably, or 2 out of these first 3 tries. And they may try to work in some type of trickery, play action, end around reverse, where it's going to create an opportunity for just Taysom to walk in, like just, a walk in is a walk in. Jason Witten could score touchdowns in the red zone after retirement. You know what I mean? So I still trust Kamara more. And if you look at the body of work, like this is a bigger year for him as far as rushing goes. Typically, he's been used as more of that safety valve, reception back out of the backfield, but they just haven't had the quarterback for it. So he's been more relied on his legs this year. All right, next up, we've got the Dallas D or Tampa D. Man, it's a good one just because both are actually pretty decent matchups. Tampa, they've been reliable up against the Saints, but the Saints have also covered against them, since Tom Brady came. They've kind of had his number. I guess I just go Dallas just because, man, the Giants are just so bad, and the total will be higher in the Tampa game, period. So keep it simple there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, both division matchups. I'm going to take my division matchup for Dallas in the NFC East and say Tampa in that NFC South. That I think you just see some really tough games no matter who's in.
Exactly. All right, let's jump into our game previews here. We got week 15. We're going Panthers at the Bills. We have the Panthers coming into Buffalo as road dogs, plus 13.5 on the spread, plus 500 on the money line. And the total in this game is at 44 points. The Bills are minus 650 favorites on the money line. Big favorites here. I don't like that whatsoever. I think the Bills will win, but I don't know if it's more than 2 touchdowns. 13.5 points is a lot to the Bills right now, who have only covered 2 out of their last 6 games. So I think we're in agreement. The Bills are going to win. But how close do we think the Panthers can keep it, Steve?
I mean, does anyone really have a read on this Panthers team? Yeah. Like, they are just all over the place. And let's see. I'm looking up their last.
They are 2-8 ATS in their last 10. So they are not a team that's reliable or is consistently covering. So keep that in mind as well. Panthers, they rank 22 in total points scored, 10th in points against.
I might actually lay the points here with the Bills. It's a crazy amount. I probably won't even play this game actually, but if I were to, I probably lay the points with the Bills. They haven't been great lately, but I think this is a get right game. This is where they could just beat up on an inferior opponent. I'm gonna lay the points here. Maybe I'd feel half as confident. I feel half as confident.
I'm going to take the Panthers on 14, so I'm going to buy them up to 14 or 14 and a half, and I think they do cover that. The Bills, while they have been good, they've beaten up on bad teams, but this is also a team that's also lost to the Jaguars. So it's also tough to see what we're going to get out of them. Their playoff hopes can dwindle here. The AFC is really, really tight. They're only 7-6. If they, lose a game like this, because this could be one of these big upsets. These next 3 games, they sound on paper like they're big home runs, but I don't think that it's completely out of the question for the Panthers to beat the Bills here. You know what I mean? So I'm going to take 14 and a half to the Panthers to cover. What do we think about the total? 44 points.
I'm going to go over. I think it's just too low of a number. Obviously, some previous games for the Bills kind of scare you where they just haven't been able to get much of an offense going, and same for the Panthers. I think what the Panthers do will ultimately decide if this hits the over or not, because they could put up 6 points and it wouldn't surprise me. But you hope you can get maybe, I'd take 14 out of them, give me 21, and we're looking great.
What do we think about the weather there? It's not really that bad. I'm just up in the air about the number, so I just wanted to look at like another factor. It doesn't really look that bad. 1 p.m. it's going to be about 40 degrees. Wind will be about 20 miles per hour. That doesn't necessarily favor the over kicking. Humidity 61%, precip is 10. I don't know. I would probably recommend to stay away because to me it's a bit of a weird number, and I feel like this is, like I said, I think it's a closer game than what people realize. And I don't know, like 24-21 is kind of sticking out in my head, but 24-20, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's going to be close to that number. I'd probably stay away, but my gut's telling me the under. But Bills, just not a team I feel like I can trust in recent weeks.
Yeah, recently it's definitely caused some worry.
All right, next up, we've got the Jets traveling to Miami, coming in as 9.5-point dogs, plus 360 on the money line, and the over-under is at 41 points. Miami Dolphins have won 6 straight, 6 in a row. They are 6-7 on the season, 7-5 and 1 ATS. Do they cover the 9.5? It seems like another big number, but in between, when I look at the previous game, I trust the Jets far less than I trust the Panthers, trust the Panthers. So I think the Dolphins will cover, of course, win outright. And I don't love the 41. I feel like when it's that low, go to the under. So maybe I buy that up to 42 or 43 and slam the under. I don't know if the Jets are going to play their role.
So I think this is going to be an easy one for the Dolphins. They've covered by a touchdown or more in 5 of their last 5 games. So I think bumping it up even to 10 against this Jets team, I think they could do it. So I love that. That's actually one of my better plays. I think today is Dolphins laying 10, and I don't usually lay 10 on some of these. I don't love double digit spreads.
Right.
As for the over under, would you say you're taking the under? Under
41, yeah. I don't think the Jets score more than 10 points.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I think this kind of it's going to be grinded out, and I think it'll be similar to how the Giants Dolphins game was. It was like 20 to 10 maybe, and it didn't really come late until the game where they were covering there. So I will take the under here. I think we could see a defensive face-off.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we have the Cowboys traveling to the Giants, coming in as 11.5-point favorites, minus 550 on the money line, and the total is at 44.5 points. I really like the under here, under 44.5. Don't trust the Giants. This is another one, even with them at home, I don't trust them to score more than 10 to 14. So I'm going the under here, and I do think the Cowboys cover. I think they can win by. I'd probably try to buy it down. I'd like to be closer to 10, as close as I can get to 10, but I feel like they'll cover. They've been a reliable team on the spread this year, 10-3 ATS on the season. I trust them to take care of business. What do you think?
Don't even move it. Just take the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a runaway for them.
Okay.
I don't see. I mean, they beat last time they played the Giants. They beat them by 24, and I believe that was with Daniel Jones. So. I mean, Mike Glennon, maybe he is a step up. I have not seen that, and as a Bears fan, It's kind of hard to believe. So give me the boys. Over under. I'll probably lean the under here. Giants, again, like I said, in their game against the Dolphins, they only put up 9 points. I'm not loving that.
So if you bet straight up these last three teams that we talked about, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the Bills, $25 straight up would make you just $16.67. So really not that much to be made on just picking those guys straight up. I would recommend finding the best pick of those games and just riding with it, whether it's a total, whether it's a spread. The money line value just isn't there in those first three games of the start of Week 15. All right, next up, we have the Titans traveling to Pittsburgh, coming in as road dogs, plus 1.5 on the spread, plus 100 on the money line, and the total is at 42.5 points. I love that over. Tennessee 7-1, their last 8 on the road to the over, absolutely smashing that 42.5 points. And I like the Titans to win straight up. They're just a better team on the season. ATS 8-5 on the year, 9-4 straight up. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they're one of those teams that just continues to try and find their identity in the middle of a game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they just don't know who they are until they get to the third quarter, and they're just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Just throwing shit at the wall, and hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. I'm going to lean the Titans. Really, I think this could be the game of the week. I think you have an offense that we all know what they're going to do today. They're going to use the three running backs they got, and they're going to move them in a rotation, and they're going to pound it down your throat. Steelers have a good enough defense where, they could stop that, but we just saw Dalvin Cook slice it up for 150 something yards last week on Thursday night.
That was awesome. That was great.
So I'm going to go Titans here. I'm not even going to touch the spread. I'm going to go money line, lose no juice. And then, over here, we saw the Vikings and the Steelers put up 60 points last week, and I think this is, the Titans are much better than the Vikings. Give it to me.
Mm-hmm. The Steelers are also 4-2 in their last 6 to the over, so there's upside from both sides of the coin here. I'm just going to check the Pittsburgh weather just because it's like I want to make sure like nothing crazy is coming into effect here. Yeah, no wind. Humidity's 55. Yeah, we're good. We're solid. We're solid. I was like, that's a really low number. I feel like that's a incorrect number. That's something misplaced, and that's how we take it to the Hizzy. Let's go. Smash that like button. Follow us on youtube.com/take it to the Hizzy. All right, next up, we've got the Houston Texans traveling to Jacksonville, coming in as road dogs, plus 4.5 on the spread, plus 180 on the money line, and the over-under is at 39.5. And you're like, why is that number so low? The Jaguars 2-11 to the over this season. It's not ideal. It's not great. So I like the under there. The Jaguars at minus 210 on the money line, that's not cool. Like, what are they doing? Like that. They should never be a 2-1 favorite in any game ever. I know both teams are super bad. Both teams are 2-11 straight up. But come on. Minus 210, like we can't get like a minus 150 or a minus 120. I don't love either of these teams. I do think the Jaguars really throw the kitchen sink at the Texans on an anti-Urban Meyer game. The first game he's gone. They bring it home, and then they start playing for draft picks. So I'll take them straight up. I'm not taking any spreads here.
I don't understand this line at all. I think the Texans are actually the better team of the two. And to have them as 4-point or 4-point dogs, it surprised me. So I'm going to actually go. Grant, I'm a little biased. I was just at Houston last week, became a huge Texans fan. I'm going to go Texans money line plus 190. I think Davis Mills is not as bad as people kind of make him out to be. And
fair enough.
The Jags, when you're starting Laquan Treadwell as your number one receiver and not giving shit to Shenault.
Two.
Shenault's
the starter. One.
Okay. And then Marvin. Actually, no. Maybe Laquan's 3. Then maybe we aren't giving Marvin Jones enough credit. I don't
Marvin
get this.
Jones.
If you lay 4 points with the Jaguars, just quit. Just quit betting. Why would you ever lay 4.5 points with? That's just absurd.
Well, I'm definitely not doing that. I will take them to win. Like I said, they're playing at home, anti-Urban Meyer game. I feel like they do everything they can to win this one. That's where my head's at. All right, next up, Cardinals and the Lions. Cardinals traveling to Detroit, coming in as 13-point favorites, minus 700 on the money line. 47 points is the total here. I like the under. I do not think that the Lions are going to put up a lot of points. They're missing a lot of key players. They've been a good team to the cover. You know, actually, I'll take the Cardinals to cover. I was almost selling myself into it. Detroit 8-5 ATS this season, but this isn't the week for it. Going heavy on the Cardinals on the spread here. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, two good teams against the spread. I think Detroit probably their number is probably not. I guess it's a little inflated because they're probably constantly seeing these double-digit spreads constantly, and yeah, we all know those are a lot. In professional football, we know those are a hell of a lot easier to cover than say 4 points. I'm going to lay the points here personally with the Cardinals. I think they're just a better team. I think they'll probably try and make quick work of Detroit. Get out of there, get on with their season. You get Chase Edmonds back for them. I like how that kind of gives them another running back out of the backfield and not Benjamin. I like Cardinals minus 13, 47. Oof. Lions
under.
Yeah, I think I have to just because of that's kind of a high number for the Lions, I feel like. But they're a gritty team, man. Dan Campbell really gets the best out of them. I'm going to lean the under, but I wouldn't be pissed if we saw the over.
Lions 8-3 to the under their last 11. A lot of upside there. All right, next up, we've got the Falcons traveling to San Francisco, coming in as 9-point dogs, plus 320 on the money line, and the over-under is at 46.5 points. 9 points seems like a lot to the Falcons, but the 49ers have been rolling. They've been good. The offense is there. I trust them more so. I don't trust Matt Ryan on the road. Yeah, give me the Niners to cover. I mean, obviously, we're not getting any love on the minus 400. The total's at 46.5 points, and I think we can go over. I like a 27-21 type of game. I like, 26-20. I know that's not quite to the over, but it's pretty close. But I feel like I think we're going to hit it. I feel pretty good about that over.
Yeah, I think we've agreed so far on every single over-under. I think we see it, see the over hit here. I personally, I'm not touching the game other than if I was to play that over-under. You can't really buy the 49ers down much without losing. It's a good value. Maybe if you want to, spend the coin and buy them down to 7, I would think that's going to be a shit ton of juice. And obviously not much on the 49ers money line. I love this.
7 even is minus 155. So I don't think that's terrible.
Okay, actually, yeah, you're not losing a bunch there. I don't hate that. Buying it to within the touchdown, I think they can easily do that. So yeah, actually, that's the way I would lean if I were to bet this game. I'm going to take the over because I think it's just a Debo versus Patterson back and forth. Who's the better hybrid wide receiver running back? And they just go back and forth trading how they can get involved in the offense.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a short reprieve here to hit up Lance in the chat. Goon Squad assembled. Half-point PPR. 3 flex spots. Need to start 1 from this lot. D. Schultz, Dontrell Hillard, Laquan Treadwell, like where your head's at, Lance. Cortland Sutton, Will Herbert, or Gainwell. So I think we can try to trim some fat here with Gainwell and Herbert. Obviously with Monty back, he's getting that full workload. With Sanders back, Gainwell's been, kind of put in the back seat. Sutton, Treadwell, Schultz, or Hillard. I'm going to cross off Hillard because it's pretty much a 3-headed running game there. Like, we don't know who's going to find the end zone. It could be Foreman. It could be Hillard. It could be McNichols. I like where your head's at with Treadwell because of the volume. Like, you really can't – while Laquan Treadwell is not a household name unless you're from Crete, Illinois, he does have some recent volume. Like, that's been pretty reliable. Like, as far as like a safe floor, it's not that bad. I'm trying to pull it up here. His last 3 weeks, 6 targets, 5 targets, 8 targets, and he's had 4 catches in 3 straight weeks, and he's gone over 50 receiving yards in each one of those games. Sutton, I don't hate that matchup though. Let me pull it up here. He's got the Bengals, but yeah, his numbers have been really low. 2, 6, 3 targets in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Man, to start Laquan Treadwell over Cortland Sutton, it's crazy. But
so
I feel
why are you giving no love to Dalton Schultz over there?
because he also has a crowded room. He's got to compete with Gallup, Amari Cooper, and Lamb, and Pollard, and Zeke. Like, that offense is packed, and I don't know if there's going to be a ton of offense to going around in a game where I believe the Cowboys are probably going to be on the field more than the defense because they're going to score a touchdown or two potentially. The Giants, they're not going to be a big threat that's going to make them run up the number. Laquan Treadwell in Houston, they have a low total. I don't expect a ton of points, but I expect that safety valve to be needed for Lawrence all game long.
Yeah, I guess I could see that, especially with game script just kind of dictating where the Cowboys go. I'm going to lean Dalton Schultz.
Sure.
Laquan, just getting 4 catches. I'd love to see that number higher once or twice, but just consistently sitting at the 4. We were giving Gallup a hard time for getting 9 targets and only hauling in 5, Obviously, Michael Gallup, you expect more out of him than, say, a Laquan Treadwell, but I'm going to still lean Dalton Schultz here. But Laquan Treadwell probably is my second.
Again, it's just a safe floor. We're in week 15. It's the playoffs. We need reliable production in our fantasy lineups. And believe me, Laquan Treadwell is a goose egg candidate this week. He is always live for that. But when I look at what Sutton has done the last 3 weeks, it's not appetizing. It's not filling my stomach. And believe me, I vomited a little bit in my mouth when I mentioned, Treadwell over Schultz. I'm keeping it down right now. I get it. I understand, the nausea that's going to cause some folks. But when you look at the lines, when you look at the opponent, what's going to be needed, I feel like, Lawrence is still going to be under duress in this game, and he'll look for his safety valve like he's pretty much done all season long. Like, Jamal Agnew was that guy. Tavon Austin's been that guy. Now it's Laquan Treadwell. It's just kind of been rotating from these 3rd and 4th string characters behind Laviska Shenault and Marvin Jones. It's maddening. I hate it.
Yeah, we just got to put it on the record that I don't know if you hate it because you love those 3rd and 4th string wide receivers. You were a Jamal Agnew truther from the jump. I don't know. Were you maybe a Shenault guy too at the beginning of the year?
I was. Yeah. I invested heavily in Shenault in one league where I probably shouldn't have, because I said, this is going to be the guy with ETN down. He's going to get some of those extra edge round reverse carries and stuff like that. The quick hitting plays out of the backfield for a developing quarterback. They didn't do any of that garbage. They didn't do none of that.
Well, Urban was just he was just incompetent at the NFL level. But yeah, just had to put on the record that Justin loves 3rd and 4th string Jaguars wide receivers.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Yeah. That's who's been cleaning up for him. I started Jamal Agnew has won me weeks. Laquan Treadwell has won me weeks. Don't get me wrong. Marquise Goodwin has won me weeks with goose eggs in my lineup. So, yeah, what do you tell you? I picked some good players that, really hold up the roster. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's move on here. We're looking at the Bengals traveling to Denver, coming in as 3-point dogs, +3 on the spread, +130 on the money line. Over under is at 44 points here. My favorite pick is still the under in this game at 44 points. While I do like the Broncos to win, I don't trust them. They have beaten better teams this season, in my opinion, and the Bengals have struggled. And on the road, I don't love them, especially in Mile High. But my favorite pick of the 6 still here is under 44 points. Denver, I mentioned earlier in the show, 2nd fewest points allowed on the year. I don't trust Joe Burrow in fantasy this week, but, there aren't a ton of Broncos that I love other than, the running backs. So I'll take the under 44 points. What do you got here, Steve?
I actually don't hate the Bengals buying a half point, getting them to 3.5. Right? You had them at 3?
3.
Yeah, so I'd buy that half point in case it comes down to a field goal. Broncos offense is still, aside from their running backs, I feel like they're still trying to figure out, their passing game, things like that. I like Bengals +3.5, buy it up a point, and under. How can you not love this under? Just kind of a younger team in the Bengals. Broncos, their real bright spot is kind of their defense. Bengals are on the road. I think this just totally writes up to be a under 44.
Yep, I'll take that as well. I'm not touching the spread. To me, it could be a 1-point game. I guess with that, you would lean towards the Bengals, but I don't know what to expect. The Broncos have held, like I said, better teams to some lower scores. So I don't know. I trust them a little bit more. I just take them on the money line at -150. All right, next up, we've got the Packers traveling to Baltimore, coming in as 6.5-point favorites on the road, -310 on the money line, and the over-under is at 43.5 points. I like the over here. I think that Tyler Huntley is very capable at the quarterback position. The offense has put up points with him in the lineup, and I think the Packers can easily put up anywhere from 24 to 27, even on the road. So I really love the over 43.5 here. I think I probably, just mix in the -310 with the total and just do a same game parlay with those two picks. 6.5 seems like it should hit, but it's the Packers still on the road. They're one of the best teams to cover the spread, and I guess I don't want to overly buy into that. I feel really safe with the total, and I'll take the Packers money line. What do you like?
So you were going the over, correct?
Over 43.5, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I like that. You're getting still two good teams. Obviously, no Lamar. I think Packers can put up points in a hurry.
Yep.
I'm going to take the Ravens, plus I would probably get this up to 7 if I were, just because we got 83% of the bets coming in on the Packers spread. And, I want to stay away from that. I want to be on the side of Vegas. So I'm going to go sharp, and I will take Baltimore plus 7.
Fair enough. And that's exactly why I'm staying away. The Packers on the season, what are they? It's 11-2. I was about to say 10-3, but that's their straight up record. 11-2 ATS on the season. I feel like I'm going to buy into that and get caught with my pants down. 11-3 on the season is not very bad, and they'd still be the best in the league. So,
yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to put my my chips into that pot for the Ravens. Packers still could take care of business. All right, next up, we've got the Saints traveling to Tampa Bay, taking on the Buccaneers. Saints come in as 11-point dogs, plus 445. I'm sorry, 445 on the money line. Over under is at 45.5 points. It's a tough number, but I feel like we should trust Tom at home. I like that over 45.5. And Tampa Bay is 5-0 ATS, their last 5 at home. So I like the 11 as well, but I probably buy it down to 10 to feel good about myself.
Yeah, personally, I don't think I'll probably play this game just because I don't know. 11 is tough in a division matchup like this is, and especially with how we've seen the Saints and Bucks go at it. I feel like every time we get it, there's bad blood. It's a really personal game for all the players. But that 5-0 in their last 5, the Buccaneers have kind of been clicking on all cylinders lately.
Right.
You got Leonard Fournette really finding his groove and showing why. That was probably one of the better free agent pickups, mid-season pickups in the past. It worked out better than Antonio Brown to the Patriots. We'll just say that.
Look at this situation with Antonio Brown. Like, man, that was a first half savior for me. Like a guy that just made daylight until until we moved to Alaska for 27 days. Like, my goodness. That situation was just right for Fournette. Not this season, but the previous season, like you mentioned, the mid signing, and then coming back this season after foregoing, outside options. Like, believe me, I feel like Leonard Fournette would have had a crazy year playing for the Bills, but came back to Tampa, getting it done. Still, at the start of the year had to compete for the job. There was no clear writing on the wall that he was going to be the guy. So yeah, I feel that as well, and I agree with you. Tampa just clicking on all cylinders. We haven't really seen those struggles that they had kind of at it was about the midway point of the season or just past the midpoint of the season, those struggles that they had last year. Tom wasn't hitting his guys downfield. The old man narratives were starting to come back out. And he just, every time they do, as soon as they get a foot in the door, he just slams that thing like that meme of Denzel Washington just slamming the door. That's what it is every single time. So I'm flooring Tom. I'm buying in on him this week. New Orleans 6-1 in their last 7 ATS up against Tampa. Not chasing it. I'm going to trust the Tampa Bay trend a little bit more. I feel like they're going to dictate the pace of that game. All right, next we're going to cover the Raiders and the Browns, and we're going to cut it off at that. We're going to have either myself back on tomorrow, or we may just skip the rest for the rest of the week, just because we have 3 games tomorrow. Or I'm sorry, 1 game tomorrow and 2 on Tuesday. Okay, so we got the Raiders at the Browns. The Raiders come in as 3-point dogs, +3 on the spread, +130 on the money line, and the total now is at 40.5 points. Nick Mullins is starting this game, and the Browns are favored to win. Huh?
Yeah, I mean
Well,
it
I'll
is
go Raiders
weird.
+3. Like,
I don't even want the 3. Give me the money line. I'll just take the money line.
ooh, I just got a weird shiver. I don't know if that was the ghost of David Carr.
I was gonna say, damn, my take must have really really got to you there.
I don't know. I just got a big old shiver down my spine. I don't know. I'll take the Raiders at +3. I don't love this game. I'm not going to bet it today. That's for certain. I'll see what type of lines and action we get tomorrow. But I think you're right. Like, yeah, we should probably just take a money line. But I feel like the +3s should be fine. Yeah, they can lose by 3. Like, I don't expect them to lose by more than that, to be honest. If they do lose this game, like, is this the Nick Mullins coming at party or what? Like,
hey, I mean, Nick Mullins was not terrible when he was in San Francisco, in my opinion.
I drafted him in Dynasty this year just as a
hey, whatever. Flyer. Yeah.
It's just like whatever. Like, it's like getting like kind of like the John Wolford stage of your draft, like all right, I'll take Nick Mullins, at this juncture at time, like it's not so bad. He didn't have a job, I think, all summer. He wasn't even on a roster for most of the season. And then he landed with the Eagles. And now he's with the Browns. Like, all right, cool, fine. No big deal. Someone's got to call for those guys. So next year, if you're in like some dynasty startup drafts, like, don't be afraid of those guys. Don't be afraid to draft the Davis Mills level threat, the Nick Mullins level threat. You know what I mean? Like Marcus Mariota, he's actually had some touches. If Carr went down with an injury, he'd be a very likely fill-in, and he's certainly not on anyone's radars at any juncture during draft season. You know what I mean? You never know.
I've started Geno Smith. I've started Geno Smith this year, so I totally understand.
Exactly. What do we think about the total 40.5 points? I'm going to take the under. I do not trust Nick Mullins, a Nick Mullins-led offense.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't bet this if I was anybody, but I think with just all the the COVID people who are out, I think you probably have to take the under here. It's a low number though. So 40.5, I mean, that could quickly be done, looking at halfway through the third, and that bet already be dead. But I can't lay too much here with all the injuries that they got, or all the out.
And we are checking the weather because I want to see what's up. So let's see. Looks like it's going to be a windy one. Hang on a second here. This might be something to consider. Hang on a sec. Let's see. Monday. We need the hourly. Let's go. Come on. All right. Then the evening, we'll just get to that. We got 15-mile-per-hour winds. Doesn't help anything much. 11% precip rating. Not crazy, but we could see some drizzles. No. 32, partly cloudy skies. Nothing to push us in one direction over another. I'm going to take the under. Like I said, I just don't trust a Nick Mullins-led Browns team. He's getting up off the couch, just got signed. They're not a vertical offense to begin with. He can push the ball down the field, but I fear he may be pushing them into the hands of a few Raiders. The Raiders secondary isn't great, but they've got a decent group up front to apply some pressure. So, yeah, I expect the under there. Okie doke. You got anything to close it down with before we head out?
No, I also like a CD Lamb touchdown today.
Okay. All right.
I've just been scrolling the book, so I want to throw that in there too.
All right. Well, won't see Steve for a little bit. I'm going to be out next week with the holidays and whatnot. We got no basketball. We might have football tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll see what we can do. But we got the holidays, so hope everyone enjoys Christmas, or whatever you celebrate, whatever it is. No big deal. What'd you ask for Christmas, Steve?
I actually don't think I asked for one thing at all. Oh, actually, I asked my grandma for a weighted blanket. I've always wanted one, so I figure out what the fuss is all about.
A weighted blanket, what all the fuss is about.
Exciting, But no, my mom actually called me yesterday like, hey, I don't have anything for you. And I was like, well, that's kind of expected. I didn't give you one idea. I guess that's my own doing.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll get a gift card or something.
Oh, okay, not too bad. A little gift card.
I
bought all my Christmas gifts. Yeah. I bought all of them. Like, this mic was on my list. I bought it. I was like, I'm tired of waiting for Christmas. I needed a new computer. I bought that before Black Friday. It's like, I took care of that. I was like, well, nothing really left. I was like, told my wife she can buy me some to the Hizzy gear. It's just she's like, just go hit up some ViridianGlobal.com. No big deal. Use promo code to the Hizzy. I don't share that, so now people know it's out there. But hey, if someone goes and buys something for the holidays, I don't mind. I think it saves you like 10 or 15% or something like that. So for the 6 people that are watching, there you go. You're welcome. Happy holidays, baby. Take care, you filthy animals. All right. Well, we're gonna head out. Hopefully, everyone has a good holiday. I might see you tomorrow. I might not see you tomorrow. We'll see. But take care. Be well. Be good. If you can't be good at it. Later.